What is up, everybody? Purple and Gold podcast for Saturday, March the 7th. LSU blasted Sacramento State last night 15-4. Jake Brown hit 3 of LSU's 6 home runs. Cason Evans retired the first 15 batters he faced. And LSU baseball got back on track. It started early in the first inning. LSU sort of made their own luck. Derek Curiel smashed a 3-2 pitch off the first base bag for a double. Jake Brown followed with a homer. Later, LSU had second and third, 2 outs. Seth Dardar came through with the big hit, a 2-run double. It was 4-0. LSU was off and running. Derek Curiel added a 2-run homer in the second. Jake Brown followed that with his second homer. It was 7-0, and it was academic from that point forward. The lineup was obviously good against Ethan Lay. Cason Evans was just carving up Sacramento State into the 6th inning. He only threw 72 pitches, I believe, so he should be rested and ready for next Friday night at Vanderbilt. Again, Stephen Milam hit his first homer of the year. Derek Curiel hit his first homer of the year. Cade Arrambide hit the other one. Jake Brown did have 2 chances to become the first LSU player to hit 4 home runs in a game. He singled, and then he grounded out. Everything that I asked for LSU to do on Wednesday's podcast before they played ULL, they did last night. There was more emotion. There was more excitement. There were better at-bats. And look, I know Sacramento State to this point in the season has not been very good. They're terrible on offense. But pitching-wise, that's generally been a staple of their program, and they've been okay this year. And Ethan Lay was their best pitcher, and LSU just took him to the woodshed. Jack Ruckert batted 9th and played second. That was the, I guess you would call it the major lineup change. Mason Braun was in left field. Obviously, wholesale changes were made later in the game. I would not be surprised to see roughly the same lineup today. You have to wonder if this is the path going forward, right? Now, look, do I still think there's an opportunity for Braden Simpson to play against lefties? Yes. Do I think this changes when Chris Stanfield comes back? Yes. And then, Jay said after the game that Chris Stanfield is getting close. But again, I don't expect Chris Stanfield this weekend. I don't expect Chris Stanfield on Tuesday against Creighton, so I don't know where that will stand going into next weekend. I don't think LSU knows right now. All in all, though, it was cathartic. It was fun. It was everything you wanted to see. LSU and Sacramento State will do it again at 2 o'clock today. First pitch has been moved up from 6 o'clock to 2 o'clock for weather concerns. So LSU baseball will play at 2 o'clock. LSU softball, who dropped a 5-0 decision last night on the road at number 1 Tennessee, will also play at 2 o'clock. And LSU's women's basketball team will take on South Carolina at 3:30. This is why I have the Tiger Den with 3 televisions going. I wanted to give a little preview of LSU and South Carolina women's basketball. Look, Kim Mulkey despises conference tournaments. She's very openly said that. She's not here to win conference tournaments. However, LSU having lost so many times in a row to South Carolina, Kim Mulkey having not beaten Dawn Staley since she's been at LSU, do I think LSU would like to win this game today? Yes. If LSU wins this game today and hypothetically beat Texas tomorrow, could they get on the 1 line? I don't know, but they would have a 2 out of 3 advantage over Texas. Do I think LSU will win the game today? Probably not. Again, I think Kim is not as concerned with that as she is with getting home and getting her team some rest. I, however, would love to see LSU come out and play well today and win this game. One other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about here, and I'm going to take the opportunity to talk about it right now, is Brian Kelly broke his silence. He gave a wide-ranging interview yesterday morning on Sirius XM with Dusty Dvorak and Danny Kanell. And he had a lot of things to say, and he talked a little bit about his own failures here at LSU, and he talked a little bit about, he made a couple of snide jabs that, LSU's current roster, the cost was in excess of $40 million, and people at LSU thought all he did was play golf and drink in his office, and he actually suffered a torn rotator cuff when those guys banged into him in the Florida game, so he's been rehabbing and he can't play a lot of golf. I just think Brian Kelly at LSU just wasn't right. It never was right. It wasn't right sort of from the opening press conference. It wasn't right from the family at the basketball game. It wasn't right, that opening game in the Superdome when they sort of didn't take the training wheels off Jaden Daniels until it was too late and then got an extra point blocked when they could have sent the game to overtime. Some of the early success, winning the West in year one and beating Alabama, and then Jaden winning the Heisman, somewhat masked real problems, right? Jaden Daniels in that offense winning the Heisman was paired with the literal worst defense statistically in the history of the school. Matt House was a disaster. Brian Polian as the recruiting coordinator to start out with was a disaster. Did Brian Kelly make fixes? Yes. But it was a constant state of one step forward, one step back. And then I think as the pressure mounted on Brian Kelly, the slamming of the fist after the USC loss in 24, telling Michael Cobble what he told him after the game and accusing everybody of being spoiled after the Florida game here in 25. I will walk away from this thing, and I know people in the media have praised Brian Kelly for being professional and being courteous to them, and that's all fine and good. And I know Brian Kelly has been a college football coach for a very long time, and I know he talked to Dusty and Danny about if the right opportunity presented itself, he would be one again. Nobody would like to end their career being fired for the very first time in their career. I will just say this. I think Brian Kelly, and I don't mean to stereotype anyone with what I'm about to say, Brian Kelly was the quintessential Northeastern jerk who came down to the South. I think he looked down on the people of Louisiana. I think he didn't appreciate the traditions of LSU. I don't think he fully embraced his role as the LSU coach. And you need to look no further than people like Lane Kiffin, Dale Brown, Les Miles, to see what it looks like when someone, Jay Johnson, when someone doesn't look down on you, when they fully embrace all of the positive things that LSU has to offer, and when they fully embrace all of the positive things that Louisiana has to offer. And so I only comment on this because it is relevant. If Brian Kelly gets another job, obviously that lowers the buyout. His comments about the current state of college athletics and what LSU was doing, paying him, paying Lane Kiffin, paying a roster, I think it's all very relevant. I don't know if I need to hear it from him. Go do your thing, get paid your $800,000 a month, rehab your rotator cuff, play golf, drink wine, go to your beach house on Martha's Vineyard, whatever the rumors are, right? Do whatever it is you want to do. And if you want to come back and coach, come back and coach. If you want to go do media, go do media. But, we're divorced now, right? And we're not getting back together. We're not, going to be amicable. There are no reunions to be had. There's none of that. So I think it's best that everybody move on, but I did think it was relevant that he gave such a wide-ranging interview because we really have not heard from him since he had been fired. And so even though some of it was a little snarky, a lot of it was relevant to the current state of college athletics and the current state of LSU. So with that, we'll wrap it up. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy what is a massive day in sports. The World Baseball Classic's going on. Men's college basketball is heating up. Women's college basketball conference tournaments. Obviously, LSU and SEC baseball on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at RobG1124. Facebook and Instagram, Rob Gossel. I have a regular Thursday hit now, 7:30 Central Time. Every Thursday I'm on with Mikey in the morning on WRBE FM in Lucedale, Mississippi. We talk all about SEC baseball. And so I would love to interact. I'll follow back. I'll interact in the comments. As always, be good to one another. And always, 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 go Tigers.